Welcome back to It's Track Time. One of the cool things about going to the track is you get to run against some of your dream cars. What you notice over time after watching them on track is that maybe they're not quite as dreamy as you originally thought. Many of the cars that look amazing on paper have so much power, and the power delivery is so violent that the average driver just gets terrified from driving it. And they end up with a slower lap time than what they would have had in a car that they were more comfortable in that had lower power. The sequence that I'm about to show here is unique in that I end up passing every modern Porsche RS car in a 2-lap sequence. I'm not turning PR laps, I'm turning decent laps, but not really super fast laps. And it's interesting to see the speed of each of these cars relative to the pace that I'm going. I turn onto the front straight and I notice there's 2 cars ahead of me. The car in the very front is a GT2 RS. So this is a 700 horsepower turbocharged car. Very violent power delivery, very intimidating to drive. Despite the fact that it's breaking records all over the world, you rarely see one of these being driven very aggressively on the track. Now, it's a $500,000 car, and maybe that's part of the reason you don't see it being driven very aggressively. But I think it's mostly due to the fact that the power delivery is just so brutal that it intimidates the drivers and they don't drive it at 10 tenths, typically on the track. Okay, next up is the car I'm driving, a GT4 RS. This is a 493 horsepower car, lightweight, mid-engine, very forgiving. Most people feel very comfortable driving this car right off the bat. If you start with a normal Cayman and work your way up through the power, this is a great platform to learn how to drive on the track with. It's what I teethed on and learned my skills with. When this car came out with the larger engine and the same platform, it was a natural for me to move into. I could use the extra power because I've already driven the platform for several years with lower power, so it was a natural step for me. It's a great car for the track. Can't say enough good things about it. I think an important point to make here is that you should start with a lightweight momentum car, a lightweight low horsepower car. In order to get a fast lap time with a car like that, you have to learn how to drive it smoothly and maintain your speed through the corners. Once you've learned how to do that, then if you add power incrementally through multiple cars, you will naturally increase your pace and become a better driver. I think if you start with a high horsepower car, you use the throttle as a crutch, you can get a decent lap time by going fast on the straights, but you don't learn how to go through the corners smoothly. And you don't develop as a driver as quickly as you would with a lightweight, low horsepower momentum car. Okay, next up is what I think is the sweet spot of the GT3 RS lineup right now. So this is a 991.2 GT3 RS. It's 513 horsepower, lightweight. It has a good amount of downforce, naturally aspirated engine, 9,000 RPM engine, so the power delivery is very smooth and predictable. You can get one of these for about $250,000 right now, and they consistently turn very, very fast lap times out at cota. You hear a lot of good feedback from the drivers that drive these. If you work your way up the 911 chain, you kind of end up in one of these eventually. Everyone feels very comfortable in these cars. It just seems like right now that's the sweet spot of the market. I consistently hear people turning 217s, maybe even 215s in these out at cota. So yeah, I think this is probably one of the best 911 track cars you can get right now. Okay, as I come around the 991.2 GT3 RS, right in front of it is the current king of the track, and that's the 992 GT3 RS. So this is a 518 horsepower car, not a lot more horsepower than the previous one, not anywhere near the GT2 RS, but it has 2,000 pounds of downforce. So in order to get into that downforce, you have to have a big set of balls, and you have to put this car into the corners with pace. And right now, I'm not seeing that many people on the track that are able to drive it with that much confidence that they can put this car into the corner and utilize the downforce. Obviously, if you put this in the hands of a pro driver, they're going to rip around the track and set records. But for the average guy out there on the track right now, you don't see that level of confidence in the drivers yet. You still see the 991.2 GT3 RSs passing these because people feel very comfortable in those cars, where in these they do not feel comfortable yet. Now, this is a $500,000 car. It's twice as expensive as the 991.2. So you have to build that confidence and expect that arrow is going to be there in order to exploit it. And so far, I'm not seeing that on the track. Hopefully, after watching this, you won't just look at the raw spec sheet and pick your next track car. Instead, think about finding something that you feel comfortable in that will give you the confidence to learn. You're going to learn a lot faster in something that you have confidence and you trust, and you believe it's going to be there in the corner for you, and it's not going to let loose, or it's not going to break loose on the exit because the power delivery is so violent. So find something you're comfortable with and go up the learning curve with that.